How's it going, toy fans? This is Brock Lauer here with Talking Toys, and
Kyle Walters.
welcome again for another episode of Talking Toys. It's our fifth episode, and today's topic will be fads and fast food toys. Yeah, but first we'll give you some updates. There's not a whole lot. We gave you a lot of updates from SDCC 2018. Only a couple little bit of reveals going on. Kyle, what was that new Mezco that came out? It was
Samurai Wolverine, it was a Mezco web exclusive, which, if anyone enjoys Mezco, you know that that means that it sold out quick, and now the scalpers are going to not be the nicest people in the world and put it at a marked up price on eBay, unfortunately.
and what does that Mezco figure come with?
It comes with a couple accessories, a couple interchangeable hands, a katana, all sorts of good stuff. For me, I just was like, man, I love the old man Logan I have from there, but it's like it's the same thing with like Hasbro Marvel Legends. They know Wolverine's a popular character, so they're gonna just keep making them and making them and making them some more. I would so prefer that. I'm happy they finally are making a Magneto, but like, why not a Gambit? Why not a Cyclops, Storm, whatever,
Right.
I mean, technically they are coming out with a Cyclops. More variety, less one person, and just making that figure over and over again. But then also I understand because of plastic costs and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I've noticed that with Mezco, it's either a lot of Wolverine or a lot of Punisher, but that's what people like, and Mezco always does a little surprise here or there, and you don't see it coming. Also, Marvel Legends released a new wave of figures for the new Captain Marvel movie. They had mostly movie figures with a movie Scroll Soldier, movie Captain Marvel, a young Samuel L. Jackson, and a young Nick Fury. What else was in that wave? Oh, another soldier for the movie. It's like green guy. He's in the movie.
Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
The male Captain Marvel, essentially.
Oh, okay. I
And then
wasn't
they
sure.
they have some sort of like Sentinel thing that
That's a Build-A-Figure
yeah,
thing. I
weird. I have no clue what that is.
I don't know what that is, and there's some comic figures going to be incorporated in that too as well. I don't know if it's a comic Scroll Soldier or it's some cosmic soldier. I'm not sure, but that was shown at SDCC I think earlier this year.
The Marvel should get a lot of people hype. Same with the Scrolls, because we haven't gotten Scroll Soldiers since the Fantastic Four Classics wave, and Hasbro released 2 packs back in the day for for your army building needs. But when they first started out, when Hasbro was like really not doing a good job with the license, and now those things are just scalpers love those things in the aftermarket.
Right. And so before we get into our topic, have you picked up anything interesting?
Well, I will say I picked up a handful of things, some Funkos. I picked up a Funko Pop Deadpool on his scooter, which is great. I picked up the Mezco Doctor Strange, which is great. But some of my favorites are just from the past couple weeks. You picked me up the Marvel Legends Cable,
Yeah.
and then after a really, really exhausting, grueling night of work, I went to Walmart in Wadsworth, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and in the exact same Walmart, I found the Marvel Legends Mysterio and the Star Wars Black Series Grand Moff Tarkin, which will probably never happen again to find 2 figures of that rarity in the same place.
Right, and it's weird because those figures are like the hardest figures to find out of both those waves. I mean, for me, I picked up a couple of interesting treasures as well. I got the Thanos, Marvel Legends Thanos, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man 3 pack from Infinity War. I had to drive a ways for it, but it was worth it. I almost gave up, and I went to a GameStop, and I'm like, oh, they got it. After I went to Target, and they didn't have it, even though the website said it does. But you have to be just because the website says they have it, that doesn't always make it true. So it's good to call ahead to maybe save yourself the gas, and the person in the toy department will look for you and check. That's also a good way to, see if they actually have it at that said store. Other figures I got, I went a long ways to get a Marvel Legends Doc Ock, which has been hard to find despite it being 2 per case. And also, I also got the Marvel Legends Mysterio, which was funny because I booked it to get that because that is literally, folks, the hardest Marvel Legend to find, and people are pricing it at $50 and up, which I don't like paying scalper prices. I like to pay as cheap as I can for an action figure. Nor do I believe that that figure is worth that much, however rare it is. But it's a great figure. I finally got it. I'm happy. Pressure's off, especially because you don't know how many more. I think they just released like another wave and distributed another wave of that Spider-Man wave recently at Target and Walmart. So I got that. And I was really happy because that was my most sought after figure after months. Because I've been looking for that Mysterio figure since April, the Kokomo toys. So, but otherwise, that's pretty much all I got. Oh, I also got my first Mezco. I got my first Mezco Wonder Woman. She has her flaws, like her skirt. You know, it's easy. It's like a little bit disorganized. The articulation ain't the greatest. Some of the joints are loose, but I can overlook those, and it's still a pretty decent figure. It's a good rendition of her. I mean, I don't have a problem with the look of the figure, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the figure itself's pretty good. I mean, for my first Mezco, it's pretty cool and impressive. Like I said, joints are loose, but you know, the accessories it comes with and the likeness and the quality of the figure is great. It's not anything I'm like, oh well, it's a trash figure. I think they just have for a company like Mezco, Kyle. They just have to get used to making female figures because all the figures they've made so far lately have been male, and I think they just need a double jointed elbow. That's something the Wonder Woman doesn't have. But I think throughout time, I think they will get better. Yeah, there's some quality control issues, but it's stuff I could overlook. Just pretty happy with it as far as Mezco. So I'm also have to pick up my Mezco Doctor Strange in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to that figure. You got Doctor Strange Mezco, right?
Yes, I love the figure. It's fantastic.
What is your favorite part about the figure?
The overall aesthetic and all the accessories. Like I love the astral projection that you can just kind of attach to his back. It's really really cool.
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong. It's a quality product, and they're getting better. I mean there's some growing pains with any company that's a toy company that's starting out. It's not starting out, but it's like they're trying to make things. They're good, but they have to make things better and greater. And it's just something they have to work through, which I'm pretty confident that they will. However, that's them. Yeah, that's pretty much it for updates and news, folks. For more updates and news, Facebook, YouTube channel, make sure to like and subscribe. And also, we are on SoundCloud. We're starting to get into SoundCloud now. We have 2 episodes up on SoundCloud right now. Feel free to comment on any of those pages about what you think about certain toys, certain brands, certain reveals, new releases, prices, anything you want about toys. Because we want to jumpstart a conversation, and we want to hear from you, the fans, to say why do we like this? Why don't we like this? What could be improved? What's at the pinnacle of its peak of like greatness? Just kind of like the quality of toys. It doesn't matter the genre. It doesn't matter the time. 80s, 90s, and up. Modern toys, even certain tin toys. Even like found like a cool. It's called a. I always wanted to get like a robot, one of those tin robots. And I saw one online with a picture. It's called TV Robot, and it has like an antenna on its head, and he has like it looks like a television set as a body. So that's something like an antique toy that I want to get into and more. So it should be more interesting. It's kind of like a niche thing. Like I just want one of those, and I think that would be cool. There's like 2 types. One has an antenna, one doesn't. I hope to find that someday, just by maybe in like a lost garage sale or antique show. But let's break into our topic today, which are we'll start off with fads. And us being kids of the '90s, we're gonna get into '90s fads, but let's talk about some '80s fads because every kid had a fad or fads. Like every generation goes through their fads of toys and popular products and stuff like that. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something I think every like there's a popularity of like a certain toy per season or per year that everyone just gravitates to. And so we'll start off with a couple of them in the '80s for you '80s toy fans out there. Remember, I'm just gonna name a few like Cabbage Patch Kids, Transformers, Teddy Ruxpin, and My Little Pony. The Nintendo video game system came out, and also Master of the Universe, to name a few of those '80s fads. I mean, some of them Kyle took their stride in the holiday season. Out of the ones I just read, which one do you find most interesting or unique?
The Tickle Me Elmo.
Well,
or the Teddy Ruxpin.
Well, Teddy Ruxpin because that was '80s. Well,
was Tickle Me Elmo '80s?
Tickle Me Elmo
or is that '90s?
It's '90s. Yeah. So
Teddy Ruxpin probably because it was a bear.
Yeah.
Like and people like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And you're just like, it's a bear. Like stuffed animals have been made for ages. Like it's a bear. Like, oh my god, I can put a cassette in here. It's so cool. It's a bear. Come on.
It came with a cassette, and didn't it come with a book? It came with a book, I believe, that read the story or something. Like Teddy Ruxpin read the book.
Yeah, so you could have that, but people I'm sure put like LL Cool J or like Motley Crue in there or something, and Teddy Ruxpin just singing like "Whoa, kickstart my heart."
Teddy Ruxpin was also a holiday blockbuster toy back in the 80s. Everybody had to get one. I don't remember exactly the year, folks, but Teddy Ruxpin was one of those great. Every kid had to have one, and people that even like before the internet had to get one. They were scalping them and selling them for insane amount of prices because it was the top holiday toys. I will say, for me, Nintendo is the most different out of those because that was another blockbuster toy because that was like really essentially the first video game you could like have in your house besides Atari. I mean, like more like let's say story wise, and you could like play and stuff like this. That was like the infancy of what it became modern day video games for the Nintendo, and you could do different things. And I had like an old Nintendo. You even played the Atari games on that. So like that was a big deal. And Nintendo, you had like Mario and Luigi and all the characters and Donkey Kong and stuff like that coming out of Nintendo, and I love those Nintendo characters that have even survived till today. But I will say Transformers because that took off. I saw like that thing on Toys That Made Us, the Transformers episode, and that was the most unique episode in the Netflix series for season 2. That how would I say that was like the best? I thought it was one of the best written for like the show because it was like a unique story, and they had to make it, and it wasn't like simple to do, and then it just took off with the cartoon, and then it became the cartoon like jump started like became a movie, and then it obviously led to the films, and people just got crazy for it, especially like American kids, even though it was like a Japanese thing or it's Asian because everybody wanted one. It was just nuts, and then you got those classic characters, from something that would turn from a motor vehicle to a figure or robot became like a big deal. So I think for 80s fads, that one is crazy. And
Funny thing about Transformers is I believe it started with a company called Takara
yeah,
in Japan, and Mattel just bought the rights to everything. They literally bought the Transformers brand,
yeah,
which was ingenious. I've always personally preferred Gundam, which is also from Japan, but to just see something that you know is going to be a great property and to just buy it is very, very intelligent on Mattel's part. But then again, that's why Mattel's the number one toy company in the entire world. Decisions like that.
yeah. You got to take risks in the toy market even today. You always got to be ahead of the game. You can't just be like you got to try new things, and to make money, you got to spend money. So, I mean, you got to take risks and you got to do something different. And I think you can still do that with different toy brands. You always got to like look ahead. You can't look back and say, "Oh, we were great at this and we were great at that." And like, yeah, but what are you gonna do? Especially now in today's world where everything's digital and kids like digital, but you got to make toys today relevant for children. I think more if your company's going to be surviving in the near future for the next 50 years or more than it is to adults, which I know a lot of companies are, how would I say, just kind of like more resolution for adults now, as opposed to just for kids and thinking ahead because I'm seeing more adults in toy aisle than I have kids. I'm gonna be quite honest with you, Kyle. I mean, would you kind of notice that too?
Yup.
Yeah.
I've noticed because adults have the money. So that's why so much of it will say like adult collector.
Did you see that thing? It was a photo. I was thinking in the news. Well, not the news, but it was like a news online. And you saw this. I saw this sign that said Target in the toy aisle. Please only buy one per customer for like action figures or something like that, so everyone has a chance to buy them. Did you see anything like that?
No, which Target?
I don't know which Target. It was just kind of like a sign I saw. It was just like, please collectors, give everyone a chance to. I think it was for action figures. It was in the trial. It's like, please collectors, give everyone a chance to buy these. Like we want to have enough for everybody because like a lot of people just buy a whole bulk. They buy in bulk and they clear the store stock out. Some Targets are doing that. Not every single one, but I've saw that online. I don't know exactly which one, but yeah. I mean, it's like I get the part of reselling, but come on, people. I mean, give everyone a chance to buy stuff. I mean, it's only fair. I wouldn't. I know I could buy a whole bunch of stuff and just like clear a store out and resell it, but And everyone has the freedom to, but like, come on, like, I don't necessarily play that game, but I mean, if the store has to put up a sign at this point, then there's a kind of a problem, I think. That's how it is nowadays. You gotta you gotta have limits. I think you gotta limit yourself and give everyone a chance and spread the wealth and joy and of collecting and your love of toys. So we'll get into '90s fads now. We'll share our distinct memories of these certain fads. Fads of the '90s included Beanie Babies, Ninja Turtles, Furbies, Pogs, and Tamagotchi. Do you have any specific memories either of Tamagotchi, Beanie Babies, Furbies, Pogs?
Beanie Babies, for sure. Beanie Babies were like the hot item, and I remember like even as a kid going to like little shows and all these things. And Beanie Babies are still around mostly through like the Hallmark store. But the cool thing was, from a business perspective, I guess the guy who founded the company, because he kind of figured it would be a fad,
Mm-hmm.
he made sure to set everyone up for success. And I guess he really took care of a lot of his people at his company as far as like severance packages go and like 401ks and all those other things, which is super cool.
Yeah. I remember like them being everywhere. I had a bunch of Beanie Babies. That was like my first thing I ever collected. I had like a Pelican, a Flamingo. I had McDonald's ones. I had like special editions ones, and I was like really young. And you know, you, I just collected it based off the fact that everyone else was collecting it, not necessarily just because I didn't think that they would be like worth a lot of money, but I just kind of just wanted to collect them because everyone else was collecting. Like McDonald's sold a bunch of Beanie Babies, and then like it was such a big phenomenon. I had Beanie Baby shows, and then like remember the heart tags they had? They'd put those in plastic, those to preserve the value, so the tag didn't wear out. And like I got Beanie Babies from like antique shows and trade shows and stuff like that. I was just a kid. I just like collecting different animals. Like I had a monkey, I had a flamingo, I had a pelican.
Oh, what was the monkey's name? Chocolate or something like that?
Yeah,
Chocolate! Chocolate! Or no, Chocolate was the moose.
yeah. And even Beanie Babies was so big back then that they even made like a Princess Diana special edition Beanie Baby bear. Like it was in memory of her as like a special edition one. That's worth a lot of money. Like certain ones are worth a lot of money. Like I had an octopus and like they were like different colors and I had like a lizard that was kind of like a tie dye looking thing. So that was pretty cool. I mean, did you have any Beanie Babies?
I had a handful. I know I love the what was it? Nomar Garcia Parra. I know was one that
Mm-hmm.
but like I loved all the rainbow bears. Those were cool.
Yeah, the rainbow bears were pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, I only remember it was like the first fad I ever gotten into.
I remember the
So
funny thing was like some of them like the blue elephants. They had them at McDonald's at one point, and
yeah,
some of them were really cool. Like my mom has a couple of like a lot of the bears. It looks pretty cool.
yeah, that was a pretty cool fad. I mean, the other thing is the market dropped out so fast on those was because everybody collected them, and now they're not really worth a lot. Like a whole bunch of them like aren't worth that much. I mean, as much as people thought they'd be, because everyone thought like they'd send their kid to college through like a collection of Beanie Babies. How about Furbies? You ever have a Furby? That kind of has made a like a modern recent comeback because they put them in like these Chinese boxes, like takeout boxes almost. What about you with Furbies?
I never really had Furbies. I remember my German teacher. He had Furbies in seventh grade.
Really?
You remember Harry Moore?
No, I don't have them. No, not in...
Super, super nice guy at Brexville High School. I doubt he's listening, but
Yeah.
on the off chance that he also collects action figures, shout out to Harry Moore. He was a very nice man.
Yeah.
And I remember he had a German Furby, which
Yeah.
was cool. And I remember making a joke when I saw him later down the road, and he said that because he used to give, if you brought in batteries, he would give you extra credit.
Yeah.
And I remember down the road, I made a joke, and I was like, "Oh, why? Why'd you stop that? Because people gave you bad batteries?" And he's like, "Yes, actually." And I was like, "Awkward."
Yeah.
I was like, "I assure you, I did not give you bad batteries." He's like, "I know."
Yeah. The Furby was interesting. I didn't have a real Furby. I had like fake McDonald's Furby. Because the Furby back then was pretty expensive.
It was like $30, I want to say, something like
Yeah,
that.
that's expensive. I mean, the technology that is included in a Furby is pretty was pretty cutting edge with the motion sensor technology. It repeated everything. It answered back to you. Furby, when you take away the prettiness of it, it really is on the inside is just like movable. machine parts with big eyes and a motion sensor, and it also has a mic inside it, so it could like listen to you, so you could like tell it what to do, and it would respond. It's like almost the next step in Teddy Ruxpin, where it responded to a person and a child. So that was pretty interesting. Like I said, I never really had one. I had like the McDonald's ones and stuff like that. It was kind of like a girly toy. What about Tamagotchi, Pogs? Had a couple more Easy Bake Oven. I don't think you had an Easy Bake Oven. A lot of kids had that. I remember in the 90s kind of made a comeback. My mom had one from earlier years. What about those Tamagotchi, Easy Bake, Pogs?
Easy Bake Oven was cool. My sister had one. I never got into Pogs and the
Neither did
Tamagotchis.
I.
I like the those were kind of cool. I remember those were really popular back in the day, and then they even made like a Pikachu one for
Yeah,
Pokemon.
the Tamagotchi was a digital like handheld thing almost, and it was a pretty brief fad from what I remember. I didn't really have a Tamagotchi. I didn't have one, and it came in like this egg, and you could feed it. It's like a first virtual pet, essentially. If you don't know what a Tamagotchi is, but don't know. I forget what Tamagotchi actually means, but you had to like take care of it. Like it was essentially the first virtual pet. I'll name a couple more here. Crazy Bones, Sky Dancers, Game Boy, Pokemon. Oh, we'll get to Pokemon cards. It's a whole other thing. Deluxe Talk Boy, Fingerboards, Creepy Crawlers, Moon Shoes, and we'll leave it at that. So, how about any of those? Sky Dancers, Game Boy, Talk Boy, Fingerboards.
Fingerboards were cool. I love those tech decks were fine. They actually still make. I was watching Great Big Story, and there's tech deck competitions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just call them fingerboard competitions, which is funny.
It was funny because those were like actual skateboards only made for your fingers. I remember they had like little screws and stuff like that, and like tools you had to like tighten it up and stuff like that, which was weird. I was like, you're really overthinking like the fingerboards and stuff like that. So fingerboards, they were fun to have on your desk at school, and you just kind of like fiddled with them. I never really like collected a whole bunch of them. Like again, like some of these, like I remember some of the fads lasted for like a week or two, and then we'd get into something else. What about Talk Boy from Home Alone? I've seen the big Home Alone movie. There's like a recorder, and he uses it to like trick the thieves or trick the thieves. But he's also using it to like he plays back his parents' like voices and stuff, and he tricks a bunch of people with them. I always wanted the Talk Boy, but I never got around to getting it because it was a pretty popular toy. What about you?
Same.
Yeah, same. It was just kind of essentially a recorder. It was a fun recorder, but these things come and go real quick. Game Boy Color was my first handheld toy. What about you with Game Boy?
I also had a Game Boy Color, and I got Pokemon, and Pokemon Blue is phenomenal.
I think my first Pokemon game was Pokemon. I think it was Silver. I think it was Silver. It was either yellow or silver. So I got Pokemon Silver, and that was fun. I played that, and we trade Pokemon and stuff. It's essentially like what Pokemon Go is now. You catch Pokemon, trade them, and stuff like that. Go on quests and missions and stuff to catch all the Pokemon. So that's really what kind of started the whole Pokemon fad, going from the video game, then going into the TV show, and then also coming into it was like game cards or cards game, and it was like the TV show, and then Pokemon just exploded. We'll talk a little bit more about Pokemon cards. Now, Pokemon cards in my childhood was pretty much just like kid currency back in my day. I had like holographic. I had a really good collection of Pokemon cards. I had like Blastoise, Venusaur, I had like Mew, I had like all these different kinds of cards. The Pokemon craze just like took off. What about you?
Same. I've actually gotten back into collecting some Pokemon cards like Metagross GX and stuff like that, Mewtwo GX. Some of them are still worth a pretty penny. I'm gonna get it shipped off, some of my cards shipped off to PSA and get them graded.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit into Pokemon cards again. I bought a couple. Like I had a Mew, I had an ancient card, and I had like these like exclusive cards. And then like after a while, I kind of phased out of Pokemon and kind of gave all my cards away. But I had like a holographic Raichu and all that stuff. Like I wish I could I still had my cards because I wish I knew if I could I kind of wish I could remember what cards I had, like how good of a collection it was. But I remember my collection was really really complete, but also I had a lot of good rare ones. Also, that's like currency back then. You trade with people and stuff. And then the schools banned them because kids would complain like, "Oh, my cards were stolen" and stuff like that. So you had to like, you had to smuggle them in school like you were some sort of like drug dealer or something like that, and like you had to trade like without the sight of adults and stuff like that because they had to ban them. And then if you went to like a super like conservative school or Catholic school, it's like Pokemon's the devil and stuff like that. It's taking over. It's like it's just a fun game, and it was just something to do.
And people legitly thought that would be a fad, and here we are, 20 years later, and it's still as fun as ever.
Yeah, and it's revived through the app, Pokemon Go, and now it's like gotten back into popularity because it found a way to evolve to the times to become popular again. And now you collect Pokemon, of course, through your phone now as opposed to cards. So it makes sense. The people behind Pokemon have done a great job still making it relevant, making new generations, still continuing with the cards, still continuing like keeping it fresh and fun, and the movies came out and the TV show was pretty good, and just making it fun. Even like today we just went Pokemon Go playing.
Caught in Deoxys.
Yeah, so it's still fun. You just do it a different way now. It's just fun, and you look back at it, and it was just like a unique time. That was a unique fad. I really enjoyed that. Let's see, what else did they have? Moon Shoes, Skip It. Oh, I remember this one. Doodle Bear. Remember you had to draw on the bear? It was like a blue. It almost looked like a denim bear, and you could draw on it on marker, and then you could like erase it and stuff like this. You could like put messages on this bear. It's pretty interesting. I don't know how many people are gonna remember that one. Creepy crawlers. Did you ever have that?
I remember them, but I don't know remember too much about having them.
It was essentially like a boy's easy bake oven, only it made like gooey looking bugs.
Oh, those
But
things.
they weren't.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, they weren't edible or anything. It just kind of looked like you baked bugs that were like jelly looking. What else? Oh, Tickle Me Elmo. That was a big one. That was also a Christmas blockbuster toy where everybody had to get Tickle Me Elmo. So Tickle Me Elmo. I guess that's a pretty good toy for like a toddler, and every mom wanted them. You still see Tickle Me Elmo in stores today, because it's such a popular toy. It's like a timeless toy because kids like it, like no matter how much times change. But you'll also, it's still relevant if your kid's watching Sesame Street. I remember Digimon was popular for like a week. I was into Digimon for a week, literally a week, and then I just was disinterested in it. I watched the show for a week, and that was it. And I'm like, I don't really see what's the point. It's just another Pokemon. And then like going into like the 2000s, there was Yu-Gi-Oh. Were you into Yu-Gi-Oh that much?
I'm still into Yu-Gi-Oh.
You still are?
Figma's come out with some cool action figures. I have the Yu-Gi. I want to get the Kaiba. I want to get the Dark Magician girl. Rebel Tech came out with the Dark Magician. I want to get into Blue Eyes. Ironically enough, there's a couple people I work with, one of my co-managers and another kid, and that's pretty much what's gotten me back into it. I'm creating a Dark Magician Arch type deck.
It's still pretty popular. A lot of people like our age are still into it, and they still have their decks. I'm not personally into it. I just didn't. I couldn't get into it again after Pokemon, and I kind of had other interests. I got into Harry Potter and like Lord of the Rings by then. It was kind of just another darker, more different version of Pokemon. So that was just how I felt about it. And the last '90s fad. How about Hot Wheels? Ever gotten the Hot Wheels?
Nah, it was okay. One of the cool things is I did have a bunch, and this one woman bought them at a garage sale, and she gave it to like underprivileged kids, so I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Hot Wheels are pretty popular. My girlfriend's stepdad collects them, and some of them are really cool.
Yeah.
And she collects the ones that are like just the Mustangs.
Yeah, they're pretty cool on the account of like the different cars, and you have so many different styles and stuff like that. They're obviously a really cool toy brand, also going up against Matchbox in the toy car market. Timeless because you always have McDonald's. Every like once or twice a year, they'd have the Hot Wheels for boys, and the girls get Barbie, and like yeah, that's how I guess people got to get kids exposed to them and start collecting. Like cousin is into them, and he really likes Hot Wheels and toys. So it's good to see like younger generation get into it. So 2000 fads. We'll get going into the 2000s. I'll name a couple of them. Some of them are blockbuster toys, and this is going in from the 90s to 2000, which I remember, such as Zuzu Pets, Razor Scooters, Silly Bands, Bratz, and Beyblade. Any of those you were into?
I had a Razor scooter that was pretty cool. Hurt like a mofo if you hit it against your shin.
Yeah, it did. I never bought one because it's kind of expensive, and I didn't really see like. I mean, I saved up. My first thing I really saved up money for to learn the value of $1 was saving up for like a skateboard with flames on it, and I got a skateboard. And it's still in my shed. I never use it anymore, and it was a pretty good skateboard. But I never got a Razor scooter. If I wanted to like do the Razor scooter, I just borrowed my neighbor's because he had one, and the neighbor kid's Razor scooter. Zuzu Pets. Those were like the first modern. Well, it's in the 2000s for like Christmas blockbuster toys. Okay, and how about Silly Bands, Bratz, and Beyblades?
My sister had Bratz. I obviously didn't. Silly bands I remember were popular, and I never understood because it's just cheap rubber.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
just shaped rubber bands.
I got this silly band shaped like a duck. Oh my god, it's so fashionable.
I don't see the intrigue of that, but
I don't
it's
either.
weird because fads, you don't know what's going to be the next fad. It could be really almost anything.
A lot of people now are saying that Funko Pops are a fad, but Brian Mariotti, the way he runs that company with all the ways they're expanding, how they have the like one of the smartest things he did is he has the exclusive license to, I can't think of the name, but it's a Netflix exclusive animated show, and he has the exclusive license rights to Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So that alone is going to make him a boatload of money. Plus, with like the collectability of it and the fact that he does things like ad icons, like in limited runs and chase variants and whatnot, and yeah, I think those will be around for a while.
Yeah.
I remember Bratz really stepping up, and I saw the Netflix special of Toys That Made Us, and it was the Barbie episode, and that gave Barbie a run for her money back when like early when Bratz first came out, because for Bratz you could accessorize, but it was like modern. It was more modern and preteen for girls, so like it was a little bit more. It was like between an adult and like teenager, just around that age group, like preteen, and that really tells sales on Barbie because Bratz dolls were so popular, and that was like a big competitor against Barbie. Like Barbie's greatest competitor were the Bratz dolls. So you have multiple dolls, but they're also like really diverse, and they have different like diverse set of characters like racially and stuff like that. So
Plus, they had like little things I remember for like my sister had where like some of them would be like, hey, here's a makeup mirror. It like they related to things like obviously girls like nail polish, makeup, all that stuff. So
right.
like they would relate it more, and they would have like they would have like here's the Bratz makeup mirror, here's the Bratz modern carrier case, or
And they had different like it had so many accessories for different kinds of Bratz dolls.
and those even like Barbie came out with movies, but those came out with movies too.
Yeah, and you could give them like it would be like one size fits all because all the Bratz dolls would be like same scale, and you could give them all different shoes and different coats and different glasses and stuff, and they were really high quality. In which like the purses and the jackets and stuff from Bratz and the shoes, and it just like it looked like designer clothing only for made it was made for a miniature figure. So Bratz took off big in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. I never really gotten into Beyblades. To me, that's just like tops that just fought one another.
Yeah, let me accessorize this spinning top and spin it really fast. I know they had an anime for it, but I was just like it was like Bakugan and stuff. I never cared. The only like card game animes or anything like that that I've ever really cared about were Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. And Pokemon I've always just collected just because of the aesthetic. Like some of those cards are still worth a pretty penny. So I just like the aesthetic of it. But Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually enjoy the card game. They've added some modern twist to it with like synchros, pendulum summons, all this other crap.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then following you get more modern fad like the Wii, the Xbox. Recently in 2014, the Elsa doll when the movie Frozen came out was like the top holiday toy.
My size Elsa.
Exactly, that was the toy everyone had to have, and they didn't want the other girl. I don't know who the other girl's name is, but they didn't want the ginger girl. They wanted the my size Elsa.
They
doll.
did not want Anna.
Yeah, I didn't want her.
It's Olaf. The snowman's my favorite.
It's just funny with the my size Elsa. Like there's been my size dolls for years. And yet that one, I guess because it's Frozen, they had to have it because it just that one just gravitated towards kids. And anyway, Disney, I gotta give them credit. They went back to the basics on that film and went back to classic sing-songy princess type movies, which girls like love.
Right.
With like completely fall in love with. Wii, Xbox. I got a Wii. Pretty cool for physical activity. The only thing I didn't like about it was you had to get batteries for the remote. But the Wii had a good run for me, such as like I had it for like 5-6 years, and I got my play out of it. Like you play Wii tennis, Wii golf, Wii boxing, those games, and Wii sports and whatnot. So those games were really cool. But like it was more interactive. I mean, you had a Wii, right?
Oh yeah, I love the Wii. We used to do like the Wii basketball, which wasn't always the most accurate game, but that was like the NBA one. We did the Wii tennis. Wii tennis is still fun.
Yeah. Xbox, I wasn't an Xbox guy. My brother was, and it seemed like a very like money pit of a system. Like we get to get the Xbox and you get to get a hard drive for it. I'm like, I don't want that. And the games seemed like a lot more expensive. I just the controllers were huge, and I was always a PlayStation guy. I was like PlayStation 2, then I went to PlayStation 4. I have PlayStation 4 now. So I was always a PlayStation guy. What are you, Xbox or PlayStation guy?
PlayStation.
Yeah.
I love the Nintendo 64 too, and I'll probably eventually get a Switch.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the new Spider-Man game I still have to get. I'll probably wait for that on Black Friday. I'll catch that. And also more last fads for this topic are the BB-8 droid, which you operate with your phone. I have that one.
Which that thing's really cool.
That's fun. The only thing down.
Plus, you said you got it on sale too, right?
Yeah, it was on sale. I mean, you can still get it. It's not hard to find because they keep releasing the movies. It's app. You download the app and you control the BB-8 with your phone. That became a big holiday toy back in 2015, and the only thing I don't like about it is that it gets dirty, so you have to clean it out. Like the wheels get dirty if you have it on carpet and stuff like that. I mean, it's still fun. I remember in 2016 Hatchimals and Fingerlinks. Hatchimals 2016, Fingerlinks 2017. That was a pretty big fad, but like these fads only last like a year. Like Hatchimals, they're not that hard to find anymore.
Yeah, now they're everywhere.
Yeah, and then same with Fingerlinks. Everybody wanted one in Christmas. You couldn't find any of them before Christmas. Now you can find them pretty much everywhere now. So who knows? We'll definitely have a December, folks. It won't be our next episode, but we'll definitely have a Christmas blockbuster episode. So tune in December for our Christmas blockbuster episode when we have that in December. It won't be our next episode, but the one after. Okay, and going on to our next topic, fast food toys. Who doesn't remember getting a Happy Meal toy with their Happy Meal from McDonald's or a kids meal from Burger King and getting a toy with your kids meal? A lot of us, that would be like the first toys we would get. Further back in time you go, the better quality they were. Let's go down the list. I have some McDonald's toys, and we'll talk about them. And we're going to go fast with this one. We're going to tell which toys were in the wave also, but like what we collected. So I'm going to name 5 off the bat here. Tiny Toons Flip Cars, Batman Animated Series figures, Spider-Man figures from 1995. These are just all McDonald's. Disney Masterpiece Collection.
The Disney Masterpiece was the really cool ones in the VHS tape,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and those were really cool quality, small, nice figures for like fast food toys. You get Snow White, Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland, to name a few. Woody, Bambi, Aladdin, or one of the Aristocats, Pocahontas, and the Sword in the Stone, Arthur. That was a really good.
Yeah, very, very high quality, especially because it was so big. It was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was high quality. Pete's Dragon was one of them, I remember. I had a couple. I had the Toy Story one. I think I had Bambi. I mean, if I saw those at a flea market or something, I think I'd buy them.
Right, I mean, because they're probably only worth about $2-3, so it's
Yeah.
like they'd be a good collectible.
It came in like the VHS box that looked like the tape at the time, and it came with the figure. And some of them were like had like cool different things. Like one was like the figures, the plastic figure would be articulated, or like Tigger was one, and he had like the furry patch. I had Tigger. That was another one I had. Just be nice like little computer desk characters you could like store and display. How about the Spider-Man figures, the animated series figures?
I actually sold you a few.
Yeah, I do have a couple over there. Yeah, I have Doc Ock and Spider-Man. They're figures.
And then you have the Mary Jane and the Peter Parker where you could change him.
Yeah,
those were really fun. The Batman animated ones were good. There was What was it? There was the,
There
the
was,
the hardest one to find is the one that they made at the time that's non-articulated, right, for the toddlers.
yeah, it was a non-articulated. They made two kinds. They made an articulated Batman and a non-articulated Batman figure, and they had a Catwoman was part of that wave.
They've had a couple of the Cars, Two Face, the Joker mobile, Penguin mobile.
Yeah, those are
They had two
cool.
different ones a couple years apart in the 90s.
Yeah, I have the Catwoman and Batman. They had the
Riddler,
Riddler,
yeah.
and they had another
Riddler, Catwoman,
one.
Batman. Do they have Robin?
I can't remember if
I
they
have
had
the
a Robin. There
Robin
was
motorcycle.
the other figure was. I remember there was like a Two Face in a car, a Joker in a car. There was one more figure, but Batwoman, Batgirl. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Batgirl.
yeah, Batgirl,
Batgirl.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
her too. That's why I was like, yeah, that was who it was. And the Spider-Man figures were cool because you'd have the two figures, Doc Ock and Spider-Man, and Spider-Man in his car, and he had his like wall crawling car, and you'd have it was another Hobgoblin in his like
The winged car?
yeah, that was cool. That's the only ones I remember. Oh, Venom was in a car too. I also remember having the Muppet Treasure Island bath time floaties.
I don't remember those
Yeah,
at
I
all.
remember those. I love the movie. I love the movie. And I had Gonzo, Miss Piggy. Gonzo was in like a boat. Miss Piggy was like on a like floating raft, and Kermit the Frog was in his ship. So I love the movie, and it was one of the most happiest toys I got were those toys because I love the movie. I remember the Babe plush toys when the movie Babe came out. Those were cool. I did like Babe, a cow, a horse, the duck, the cat, the dog, all those characters from McDonald's. That was pretty cool. I mean, I had a couple of them. I didn't have all of them, but I remember those. Remember the Mighty Duck pucks?
Yes, and then they also, I think it was Burger King that came out with gargoyles. Some of those old 90s Disney shows were great.
Gargoyles. Yeah, I remember them as toys.
Oh, even with the Batman animated, not a lot of people know this, but Taco Bell also did Batman animated, and I have a Mr. Freeze from their little Mr. Freeze squirter because I needed something Mr. Freeze on my Batman shelf.
I know Taco Bell did Star Wars Episode 1 toys. Remember those?
Oh, I forgot about that. Some of those were like plushies and stuff.
One was for Episode 1. They had like a pod racer, and you put it and you connect it to like this air pump, and you just hit the pump, and the pod racer would just go.
Yeah.
I had that, and they also had George or Brinks, but his tongue would come out, and like you just move his arms, and his tongue would come out. I mean Taco Bell. I mean they didn't have a whole lot of toys, but I remember that line.
But the ones they did were really cool.
Also, other McDonald's Happy Meal toys were Hercules figures. I remember those. You get like the monster to put like the figure in. I guess it wasn't really a figure, but yeah, like it was like a action figure, but also like opened up.
Inspector Gadget.
Oh yeah, the Inspector Gadget Build-A-Figure.
One of our friends actually bought the whole thing, and it looks cool. You can get it for a good deal. You can get it for under $20.
Yeah, you get it between 10 $20. It's not too hard to find. You get his hat, you'd have to get each part of him, like a body part. His head and torso. It was like his head and inner torso, and then his front torso was like a phone. It looked like a fake phone. His one arm was a squirt bottle. His other arm extended, and they were like tools. One leg was a flashlight. The other one was like a toolkit, like kind of like almost like a Swiss Army knife kind of thing. And like he'd extend his limbs and stuff. He had a helicopter hat. Remember that? I completed him, but I lost the figure, and that's one of the most like hardest things I regret losing. I'm like, oh man, I wish I still had that because I love the movie and I love the toy. That was like to me, that's like one of the top 5 all time great fast food toys. You agree?
Yeah, I would. Those are really cool.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with that.
They even had the Spy Kids ones. I remember.
Yeah, they did that one. Yeah, they did those. That's something I remember.
Even I will say this though, McDonald's, like some fast food companies for some reason, for like Burger King, when I worked at there a handful of years back, they were trying to like make like, let's make our toys act pretending to be active, and then finally now they've gotten back into like DC superheroes and stuff because like McDonald's consistently, I give them props. They've always, more often than not, they've had the coolest fast food toys. Right. Consistently.
Yeah, and they did like Furbies and Beanie Babies. Who could forget those from McDonald's?
I will say this, so some of the other favorites who were even like with Burger King though, the Pokemon.
Yeah, well, we're gonna talk about Burger King like next, and on to Burger King. Burger King toys were like they had the Pokemon ones, and the Pokemon ones I remember were in a ball. Some of them they had a recall because kids would put them at the ball next to their mouth, create suction, and they would like suffocate or something. It was almost like a suffocation hazard.
I remember going to the one in North Royalton, Ohio, as a kid.
Yeah.
They were sold out. A lot of Burger Kings were sold out of those toys.
Yeah, a lot of were, and there were so many of them. You could get 3 different kinds. You could get a a plush, a plastic toy, and like one was like a rubberized like squirty bottle, like
Yeah,
squirty
and
one.
they had like racers, they had like backpack hangers, like
Yeah,
there's even some I still want because some of them were light ups. Like I would still love to for the right price to get the Mewtwo light up one.
some were tops,
Yeah,
keychains, and those are like they made like over 20 of them.
there were a lot of really cool ones. You could even get the fat Pikachu plush.
Yeah, yeah, that was like an interesting one to have. And that Pikachu plush actually, you pressed it and it made a noise like you like, Pikachu, like that. So that was pretty cool. I have the Lord of the Rings set from Burger King,
Yes, you do.
and that would
You have
came.
the complete set.
Yeah, I do, and they said that's worth like upwards over $50 complete.
Really?
Yeah, because the sculpt on those toys were so great, and there were so many figures. Like the bigger the brand, the better, and
And I
there's
know
more.
you got it for like a good deal, like $20 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
didn't have to pay over 50 for it. It was like $20, and I got them. And you get a lot of characters, and each one would like you'd press. It made a circle, so you have all the figures that you put them in a circle together, and each one would say something, or light up, or have a function of some kind. And in the middle, you'd have the one ring with the flame, and you like could turn it, and each character either says something or lights up or something happens. They had like a function for that toy. Yeah, I like Lord of the Rings, and I didn't get that as when it was out, but I got that on eBay years later.
eBay definitely would recommend over like a lot of like I always like to support brick and mortar, but like eBay, man, sometimes you can find just phenomenal deals.
Yeah,
Like I got the first appearance of Sinister Six comic book on eBay for like $40. It's in bad shape, but
yeah,
it's still the first appearance of Sinister Six. Maybe even cheaper. Maybe I got it for like 25. I don't remember. I just remember it was cheap.
right. One of my favorite fast food toys were the Toy Story plush puppets.
I don't
Um,
remember those too well.
well, the doll you get, like Woody the doll, you could put his fingers in his back pockets to make him look like he's walking. You could get Rex was like a puppet, Ham, and Buzz limited, but still 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 real was the RC car. That's what Burger King sold. Like it's hard to believe that they sold something like that cool. Like also another example. Remember those gold Pokemon cards?
Yes,
You
yes.
remember those? Like, can you believe Burger King sold that before? Like, can you believe that that was a thing? Like they like now compared like Burger King's just like whatever, and McDonald's is like whatever now, and it's like like even back then, even with like Lord of the Rings property, they had like Lord of the Rings goblets they sold, like glass goblets.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Remember that? Like it's hard to believe like Burger King then had so much better quality. I mean, you worked for Burger King,
A
like
lot of the toys they were from there were absolutely crap when I worked there. The only cool one was the toddler toys. I found one of the old sandbox toddler toy things from when I was a kid, the turtle sandbox,
yeah,
and my mom has that in her one of her curio cabinets
yeah,
because
and
it was
I
so
was
cool.
hoping like when you worked at Burger King, like you get us like cool toys, but like they were all lame when we were older and had to work there. But also other toys they had were the Land Before Time toys. Some of them were rev ups and they hopped around and stuff like that.
Even the only cool toys they had when I was there were the Mario toys, but we never really got any of the really cool ones. Like we got a couple decent ones. I think your brother might have like the Mario and Luigi from when we were there, but I'm not sure if we got those ones. I don't remember too well.
Yeah, and then I remember they had the Iron Man line. They had that cool stuff. Those figures were pretty cool. They had like the drones for Iron Man 2 and Iron Man figure. They had the interactive Pokemon cards that had like were like figure looking cards and they made a noise or a sound and
I
stuff like
remember
that.
those,
They
yeah.
all pretty much made a noise, a sound, or a light.
There was like Charizard and Pikachu and stuff like that.
Right. Or the Burger King also sold the Star Wars plush plastic ships. They had ships, and they also had characters, and you'd open up like Darth Vader, and Anakin would be inside of like mini people. Yeah, you got one right there. Yeah, that's one of them right here. Yeah, I got her. You just open them up, and there's Anakin.
I have that same one for like I bought it for like $3 or $5.
He's really rare
Yeah.
apparently, but I kept this one in good shape. But those, like something small like that, just for what it is, that's a good thing.
It's a quality product.
It's a cool concept. It's like almost like pre-Funko,
Yeah.
Pop Funko almost.
Like, and you don't need anything crazy from it. It's just like it gets the job done.
Yeah, it's like okay, I feel like I got a good deal from it. From it. Well, that's how I started collecting toys. Was like through fast food toys and buying fast food toys and collecting different waves of different things, and it was off the movie and stuff like that. I also still got my fast food toy Pixar collection from different Pixar movies, like the Finding Nemo ones, Monsters Inc. They did a Pixar collection with just different Pixar characters. I mean, like McDonald's and Burger King really did good stuff, and they even didn't just do Disney stuff or Star Wars. They did Rugrats, and they did like Nickelodeon. I remember one of them was Hey Arnold Football Head Football. That was pretty cool. And one Rugrat wave was the Reptar Land, which was pretty cool for the new Rugrats and stuff like that. They also had like Cat Dog, and I don't know if they had Real Monsters, but I remember like the Convy. I remember the Convy they had from Wild Thornberries.
Yes,
It
yes.
had the rhino that hit it in the back to make it go. Cat Dog and Arnold. Hey Arnold Head Football Head. But I mean, was there a certain wave of fast food toys you liked, or you just like a whole bunch of stuff?
The Batman animated, Spider-Man animated. I remember Backstreet Boys had one. I thought that was kind of
Really?
funny. But the VHS tapes from Disney were probably some of my favorites. I thought those were cool as
Yeah,
heck.
that is a special one. I did like a lot of
And
them.
then the Pokemon ones too.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I also remember this one more before we go. I remember the Cartoon Network tops from Burger King.
Oh, I don't remember those two. I do remember Johnny Bravo was at Wendy's. Those
Yeah,
ones were cool. One of my former bosses from a couple years ago, he used to work at Wendy's, so he had an extra Mario parachuting.
yeah.
I have that one. That was
I
pretty
think that might
cool.
have been cereal toys or fast food toys. I can't remember, but yeah, those I think we pretty much hit most of the fast food toys we remember. So we're about to close out our show, folks. Make sure to like, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and SoundCloud pages,
And share.
and like and share. Tell your friends. Have those discussions. Comment, like, subscribe to our pages, and have a discussion. What's your favorite fast food toys? What's your favorite fads? We want to hear from you, the fans. Feel free to comment on any of those pages or on any of those platforms. We are talking toys on YouTube, Facebook, and SoundCloud. Well, we're going to close it out. I'm Brock Lauer.
I'm Kyle Walters.
And always stay happy with a happy meal.